This is my audience. This is Brandy, Lexi, and Slim. Good afternoon. My name is Morgan Imhoff. I'll be doing my persuasive speech on the dark side of fast fashion. I don't have any note cards. I just did not feel like making them. I think I can recite my information pretty well. Okay. So I think we've all dabbled in some fast fashion at some point. I mean, it's cheap, it's easy to acquire. They have a bunch of stores like this in the mall and a bunch of websites, and social media makes it really easy to spend money on fast fashion. Some of these companies can be known as Shein, Zara, H&M, Forever 21. Those are the most popular. There's also one called, I think, Romwe, which is basically just another Shein. It's an online shop. So fast fashion is specifically rapid production of low quality clothing, and it's very cheap. It's not really sustainable. It doesn't last you a long time at all. So fast fashion is destroying our environment and exploiting millions of workers on a daily basis. Today, I will dive deeper into what goes on in the background. Okay, so my first point, fast fashion has a significant impact on our environment and human well-being. According to an analysis by Business Finder, fast fashion production compromises 10% of total global carbon emissions. Some additional facts: fast fashion pollutes and dries up water sources. 85% of textiles end up in landfills, which means 85% of the clothing production, people get rid of it, they realize, oh, this isn't good quality at all, I don't want it anymore. Maybe they sell it. Most of the time they either donate it or just throw it away, because usually it's too low quality and people don't really want to buy it secondhand anyways. These brands use synthetic fibers like polyester, nylon, and acrylic, and these materials take hundreds of years to biodegrade. It's a long time. It's a really long time. Along with the significant pollution, workers are exploited and working in unsafe, unsustainable conditions daily. These can be known as sweatshops. These people are forced to work. Well, they're not forced. I guess they choose. They could be forced. However it happens, they're working here. They can make as low as 3 cents per hour, and that is impossible to reach minimum wage with 3 cents. The sweatshops these people work in have been covered up for years, but they're finally coming into light. More people are realizing where their clothing is actually coming from. My next point is going to be my solutions. So the first solution I have is probably the most obvious. It's to be cautious of your spending. You do not have to spend money on these at all. You are not being forced to shop in these places. Even if you can't afford expensive clothing brands, there's other ways to purchase clothing. You can go thrifting, that's really popular. Just make sure you look at the brands so you're not buying secondhand fast fashion clothing. Instead of purchasing tons of cheap, low quality clothing, spend your money on more expensive, it doesn't have to be too expensive, but better quality clothing in general that'll last you a much longer time than cheap fast fashion clothing. And usually the clothing you'll buy from fast fashion businesses, they'll usually end up being donated, sold secondhand, or just thrown away. Like I said before, they will not last you a long time because of how low quality they are. Another solution would be to find sustainable brands. This could possibly be a little bit of work. It's kind of hard to find genuine brands that don't use harmful ways to produce clothing. Try to find brands that are ethical and use eco-friendly materials. Usually if you can go to a website of a person with a small business, or in person, somebody can have a small shop where they make clothing, you will know They make their own clothing. You'll know where the materials come from. They'll be pretty upfront about that with you. Okay, my next point are the what ifs. So what if we end this? What if we don't? What if it just keeps going on? So if we as consumers keep funding harmful fast fashion companies, the well-being of humans and our planet will continue to deplete. The pollution will keep rising, and people will keep being forced to, not forced, but they will keep suffering in these workplaces for very low wages for the work that they do. The planet can't sustain the current pace of fashion production. I read in an article, I don't remember which one it was, but they said a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, 2 or 3, new trends, new trendy clothing were coming out 4 times a year, and now new trends are coming out every week. So these clothing are being rapidly produced, and the exploitation will never end for millions of workers. I also read in another article that these companies there has been hired, 300 million workers have been hired in recent years to these fast fashion companies. Okay, if we put fast fashion to an end, our pollution levels will significantly decrease, as fast fashion makes up about 10% of our pollution and 10% of the carbon emissions, like I said before. Along with the decrease of pollution, workers that are basically involved in modern-day slavery will finally be set free. Some of these employees make as low as 3 cents an hour, which makes it absolutely impossible to even come close to minimum wage, like I also said before. Okay, the end of my speech. The secrets of fast fashion have been brought to light. We as consumers have the power to put fast fashion to an end, as each choice we make as consumers leave an impact. I think if we all collectively stop shopping and funding these places, pollution will significantly decrease, and people will be able to live their lives and attain jobs that pay them a little more than 3 cents an hour. And I also think our future generations will thank us because of us kind of helping to stop pollution with this. Our environment is being destroyed and millions are being exploited due to fast fashion. My advice to you is to make wise decisions with your money, such as choosing more sustainable brands, and you also don't need to be buying new clothing every day, every week, whenever you think, oh, I need a new shirt. Like, you have clothing, you don't need more right now, and you really do not need to be spending money at these corporations. They do not deserve it. And that is the end of my speech. Thank you.